speaker this evening, Dr. D.C. Cofield.
Sir, we love you. Love you. And to get you up here. Yes, sir.
To all of the board members, to President Carol Douglas, it is really my pleasure, along with several other board members who are here. Let me ask the other board members who are here from the Houston branch, if you would stand, please, just to show your presence and your support. We're here just to say to you that we support you. We want to work together. The Missouri City, Fort Bend County branch has always had a wonderful relationship, a wonderful reputation, I should say, for getting things done. I'm not sure if we've always had the relationship that we should have. And so I'm here tonight to pledge my commitment to making that relationship all that it can be, to make both of our branches better. I think tonight is really a microcosm of the kind of strength that exists in our community. When you think about the fact that this installation of officers was to take place at a black bank, that bank was robbed, but we were able to move to a black business to hold this installation. That says a lot about where our community is, but it's also a challenge before us about where we can go. And so tonight, as we close, I'd like to give a benediction in the form of a prayer. Amen. Amen. In the form of an admonition, in the form of a blessing upon you. So let's stand on our feet together. Amen. This benediction comes out of the book of Judges, chapter 3, around the 31st verse. If you look for these principles to be articulated directly, you will not find them there. But there is a man whose life, I think, pictures what all of us should strive to be. His name is Shamgar. He is not a popular biblical character. He is not well known. As a matter of fact, his name only appears in 2 verses. But there are principles that come out of his life that I believe will serve us well as we fight for justice. The first challenge that he lays before us is to know who you are. The text says his name is Shamgar, the son of Anath. We know nothing about Anath, and we know little about Shamgar. But it's interesting that he did not find it necessary to link himself to the popular prophets of the day. He simply stood on his own, secure in who he was. It is incumbent upon all of you in here to know who you are. We suffer in many instances from an identity crisis, trying to discover who we are, defining ourselves by the creature comforts in life, instead of being comfortable with who we see in the mirror and secure in who we are. The second thing he did, he started where he was. The text says Shamgar was in a bad part of town. He was in a part of town that they had to put locks on the doors. Now you can imagine these were days before Christ. Some of you in here grew up in a time where you didn't need locks and bars on your door. But it was said that the streets were deserted after night during the time of Shamgar because marauders and robbers were walking the streets. But he didn't move his ministry, his prophetic gift, out to the good side of town. He stayed where he was, and he started where he was. The third thing, and I believe it's important for all of us, use what you have. The text says he took an ox goad and killed 600 Philistines. Now, an ox goad is an interesting instrument. It is an instrument that was used by a farmer. One end had a spade on it to clear a plow. The second end had a point on it, and it would be used by the farmer to jab the ox to get the ox to go where he wanted him to go. As a matter of fact, the word goad in the Hebrew means teacher or instructor. So the goad was the instructor of the ox. But here's what's interesting. It wasn't a weapon of warfare. Yet he took what he had, he used what he had, and killed 600 Philistines. We come from a tradition of people who knew how to take what they had and do the best they could with what they had. We turned scraps into delicacies. We knew how to take what we had and do the best we could. We could walk in the kitchen and tell Mama there was nothing in there to eat, and she could go in a half hour later and come out with a gourmet meal because she understood how to use what she had. The last principle I want to pronounce upon you is to do what you can. He killed 600 Philistines. Interestingly enough, when you look at the prophets that were listed above him, some killed thousands. Yehu killed 10,000. And 600 may pale in comparison to 10,000. But I'll submit to you that the challenge before us is not to do better than somebody else. The challenge before us is to do the best that we can. So leave here tonight knowing who you are, starting where you are, using what you have, and doing what you can. God bless you and God be with you.
Brought to you by the Missouri City Fort Bend chapter of NAACP, Hermika Bibbins of MarketTrendConsultants.com, and Craig Anthony Nicholas, MrCan.net.